All right, let's just do the damn thing, Jason.
All right.
Let's just jump right in here. Padded Room Radio is back on the air, baby dolls. My name is Darian. I've returned for another week of horror horse shit. My main man, Jason Harrell, is in the house.
What it do?
What's going on, Jason?
Oh, another exciting week. I've officially been back to work 1 week and 1 day now.
Oh, no.
My math is wrong. Sorry, I called in on day 3.
That a boy.
I was driving through the North Valley.
Yeah.
Now, with the way I drive, it's an hour and 45-minute commute one way.
Right.
By the time I'm 35 minutes into that drive, it was snowing like shit, man, in the North Valley.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm less than 60 days from retirement.
Yeah.
Why in the fuck am I going to do this?
I've seen too many cop movies where the guy gets killed right before he retires. Don't fuck around.
I flipped a bitch as slowly as I could and made my way on home.
That a boy, Jason.
So, yeah, back at work, and let's see. That's about it.
That's it? That's all you got? That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Working, coaching flag football.
Yeah.
That's my whole life right there.
On a bit of a streak, though.
I am. Won 3 in a row.
Nice.
Like I know what I'm doing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I got some stud kids out there is what it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Juicing them up, giving them a little Roy, treatment.
I bring a 6-pack of Monster Energy with me. I've been known to dabble a little bit. Wife was out of town this last week.
Nice.
Last weekend.
Yeah.
Made a living room fort for the kids to sleep in. That was great. I didn't sleep in it. I tried to.
Yeah.
I could fit in it, but not comfortably. I'm still laying on the fucking floor, man.
Yeah.
They can do, when you're a kid, you can do that.
Yeah.
Your skeletons are like malleable, and you can,
You're
adapt.
still made of silly putty.
Pretty much, you'll just melt into anything.
Yeah.
When you're old, like us, the fucking waking up and the creaks and the cracks and the bullshit.
Yeah.
Here I am trying to be a good dad, and I'm paying the price for it.
I wake up in pain from a multi-$1,000 bed.
Nice.
There's no way that I could sleep on the floor.
Well, you're much older than I am.
It would be crippling.
It would be.
I wouldn't say much. You're hot on my tail.
Physically.
Yeah. Okay. Physically, yeah. I'm about 90.
There you have it. Well, we have a real horror show to get into here, Jason. Not just me.
Not just my back.
Just us complaining about our skeletons. We got horror news and listener mail. How about a little horror news, Mr. Harrell?
Horror news.
Yes, sir. What you got?
One little nugget slid in at the wire.
Usually
let's
they
see.
slide out.
Evil Dead Rise officially announced for 4K and Blu-ray on June 27th.
I'm into it.
Previously, up till that announcement, the 4K release was only in foreign markets.
Oh.
For whatever reason.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I ordered mine from Amazon UK, and now I've got a US release coming. So.
Awesome. There you have it.
It's all good.
It's all good, buddy.
Looking forward to seeing that again, though.
Yeah. I took the kids to see, during our big bachelor weekend, I took the kids to see Mario, Super Mario.
Yeah.
Tried to talk them into seeing Evil Dead Rise.
I could see that they were probably torn. Very torn.
Deacon was into it. Daphne said no can do.
Yeah?
Yeah. Bum me out, man.
The Mario movie looks pretty fun.
It's very Game of Thronesy. Which,
really?
Yeah. I mean, not with the incest or the Walking Dead.
Oh, well, then who cares?
I mean, but it's a whole thing. But anyway, Trailers are up for Meg 2.
Nice.
This one is going to include dinosaurs.
Oh, boy.
Did you ever see Meg 1?
I believe I did.
I did not.
Yeah. Is that the Jason Statham one?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, Meg 2, The Trench, it's called.
Sounds gripping.
sounds like something you'd find in your backyard, really.
Or it's a biography about just some blown out prostitute. The Trench.
It's Megan to you, you fucker. What else do we have here? A Halloween board game is going to be released this fall from Trick or Treat Studios. Again,
yes.
I will probably buy the goddamn thing.
It's not already pre-ordered?
No, I haven't had time to, but when I do, I will probably jump on that one. What else we have here? Stranger Things, the final season has been paused due to the writer's strike.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Dude, you don't have time. You don't have time.
These kids are like in their early 30s at this point.
They're aging out. And you can only do so much with that digital de-aging bullshit.
Yeah.
They did that in It. I don't know, man.
They were already saying, because I just finished rewatching the series, and so then I looked up when the estimated release date would be,
right.
And they're like, late 24, maybe sometime 25. And now...
Paused.
Even paused.
What does that even mean, though, paused?
2027, probably?
Sure. We're going to have to get the kids of those kids in there to play those roles. Oh, excuse me. Lastly, I don't know how I feel about this. Carl Urban is in talks to play Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2. He seems a bit old.
Yeah, a little old for Johnny Cage.
Yeah, that's my concern.
He doesn't really have that kind of flashy Hollywood bravado.
You got to be a bit of a dick. I think Van Damme could still pull it off.
You think so?
I think he could. Why not? I mean, he's kind of got the movie star look about him still. He didn't look that bad in what was it, The Expendables?
I think we should get Nicolas Cage.
Oh sure, oh sure. That was a fatality. Okay, take your face off.
Oh boy. Oh man.
Yeah, enjoy it.
All of his fatalities are just peeling faces off.
That's all we got on horror news, you maniac. How about some listener mail? Let's see what I've been photoshopped onto this week.
Oh boy.
Listener mail.
All right. Let's see here. Looks like we got Tony coming in from Southern California.
Hey, yo, Tony.
Now, he used the newly instated 3-on-a-meat hook form that you can fill out.
Okay.
How else would I describe that?
It's basically just a contact form.
And then
it automatically sends whatever you type in there to an email. Yeah.
So basically, there you have it. So you don't want to email us. You just want to get us your meat hook. Just click the meat hook link on the Padded Room podcast page.
Fill out the information there. You're good to go.
And there it is. Here comes Tony's 3-on-a-meat hook. 3-on-a-meat hook, foreign horror movies. Trying not to pick high tension as I could pick that movie for a lot of lists. Number 3, Big Tits Zombie. Why have I not heard of Big Tits Zombie? Also known as Big Tits Dragon. Now, that's a bit of a leap.
Yeah, how do you go from that to the
zombie
other?
to dragon with big tits? I don't know. Or Hot Spring Zombie versus Stripper 5. A lot of titles there. I don't exactly know what this is, but I think we need to do some research. Okay, did the research. There is a 1-minute clip on YouTube that you can watch. He sent a link. Very nice. Number 2, Wreck. This one is pretty good. Shaky cam done right. Number 1, The Host. It's a giant squid and it's America's fault. Have you seen The Host?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
We saw that at Garcia's house.
We did.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good show. I thought it was more of a comedy, actually. Right on, Tone. Thanks for getting in there with your meat hook. You came in again, this time on the regular email. Subject line. I don't think that's a subject line. These are kind of weird the way they come in. But anyway, of course, Darian would think that any movie spoken at least partly in Spanish is Mexican. All right. Guilty as charged. I think that does officially qualify me as a racist, does it not? It fucking well should if it doesn't. Is Mexican. This is a German film, by the way. Luz is a hot mess. It doesn't help the director went with German, Spanish, and English. It also didn't help that not everything was subtitled. I got really lost following along during the scene when Luz was hypnotized and the interpreter wouldn't translate for the cop. You can't have a scene where up to 5 people are talking and don't subtitle all the dialogue.
Most of that was subtitled for me.
Me too.
So maybe wherever you were watching it, the subtitles were just off or something.
It could be. I don't know, Tone, but I got the full subtitles.
Yeah, because I caught the context of the whole thing, why he wouldn't translate because it was blasphemous.
Right.
And I could definitely read what she was saying.
Me too. Get it together, Tony. Oh, here comes a brand new listener. Hey-o! Say hello to Malik Najik Johnson, everybody. Oh, man.
Has he resurfaced?
He has.
He must have been bored at work today.
Malik at blackemailsmatter.com. Loving it.
Oh, that Malik. He's a card.
Here we go. I'll do my best slang for you. Hey, what it do, D-Dizzle? This your boy Malik Najik Johnson. Of course, don't be calling me boy just because I'm your boy, you feel me? Beyond that, we be straight. Listen, man, I may be kind of going away for a bit for some bullshit I ain't do. So I just want you to know, man, that if it take chiseling out a hole and crawling through a sewer pipe to get back out to the streets just to hear your show, that's exactly what the homie gonna do, you feel me?
I feel you.
Ain't nothing gonna keep me from getting my PRP on, dog. That's how a padded room life would do. All right, homie, I got to bounce. My cousin tried typing for me since I ain't exactly what you call a wordsmith. Being that I dropped out of that bullshit in school in the 3rd grade.
In the 3rd grade, huh?
Peace in chicken grease, D-Dizzle. Malik Najik Johnson.
Man.
My man. Haven't heard from him in a long time.
It's been a minute.
I love me some Malik Najik. Right on, dudes. We got some voicemails to get into here.
Good job on the Ebonics, by the way.
I try.
Yeah, you did good. You sounded straight up from the hood.
Did I? Okay. I'm going to work on that. Maybe I'll put some more bass in my voice.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe sound a little less prepubescent.
Watch a few Vanilla Ice interviews.
That's what it is. That's what I got to do.
And get your Caucasian hood talk on.
Jay, let's start things off in beautiful downtown Anderson, Indiana. Coop Nukem in the house.
Aye.
Good evening, Darian. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening,
hello.
Cooper.
Well, thought I'd call in real quick before I end up forgetting again. The 3 on a Meat Hook. So they are foreign horror movies. Anyway, for number 3, out of Japan, I have Audition, and I'd never seen that before until, what was it, last year or year before?
Right on.
When you did a podcast on it, and I ended up watching it afterward. And man, that was a pretty good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Number 2, out of South Korea is Train to Busan,
of course,
which I think everybody and their brother's seen. Thought it was done pretty well.
Yeah, love those zombies.
Pretty entertaining, good gore. And kind of struggling. I thought I was going to have this as like a straight Asian list, but I ended up remembering one I believe
Serbia
you
bomb.
covered. I know Tim, not real long ago, a few months ago, he talked about it.
What you got?
He had mentioned it anyway, and it just popped in my head. I really enjoyed this when I watched it.
Okay.
It was out of Norway. There's one called Troll Hunter.
Yeah.
And
that is a good one.
it wasn't like the greatest special effects on Earth. Granted, it's a little older, but I thought it was a pretty cool storyline, and you know, I enjoyed it from start to finish. So that would be my number one. And on Educate, I am effing clueless, so I have no idea. I am a failure, Darian, as you know. Anyway, you guys have a good night.
Cooper, you disappoint me. Right on, buddy. Thanks for calling in. Have you seen Troll Hunter, Jason?
No.
That's a pretty good show.
Is it?
Found footage, mockumentary style.
Yeah. I've heard some reviews on it.
It's definitely worth a watch. They take a very different approach to trolls.
I have really been struggling for several months now to even bring myself to watch any foreign films.
Yeah. I get that. It's taxing because you can't watch passively. You have to sit down and you have to fucking focus and read those goddamn subtitles.
Damn reading.
Who the fuck? God damn it, man. Sick of it. Right on. Thanks for calling in, Coop. Let's get down to our main man in Alabama. Alan's in the house.
Alan.
Padded room. What's up,
Alan?
Hope everybody's doing good.
I got no complaints.
So, the new Terrordome, I know I mentioned something about one Sammy Kerr. I think I changed my mind. I want Jimmy Bones.
Oh, Jimmy Bones!
A.K.a. Big Motherfucking Snoop Dogg. Anyway,
Holy shit.
foreign language films. Give me... I loved, French New Wave gore and stuff.
Sure.
Oh, God, there's a lot of them. I know my number one is Inside.
Okay.
Number two, I guess, would be High Tension.
Yeah, I figured that.
And number three...
High Tension's a good one.
Best foreign language films. I know that they were dubbed in English, but they were still foreign. I'm going to go Lucio Fulci's Cat in the Brain. I love Fulci.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Mr. Darian, are you Dark Shadows?
Oh, he's got me again.
Have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Damn it, Alan's on a roll. Alan doing a deep dive on the foreign language.
Yeah, Inside's good.
It is.
I just can't. I can't rewatch High Tension as much as I used to think I could. I think I just finally burnt myself out on it a bit.
Did you watch it a lot?
Yeah.
It's a good show. It's
Plus, it doesn't help that it's always playing on Pluto TV.
That's true. It gets run quite a bit. Right on, Alan. Thanks for calling in. Here comes Mr. Tom Hardy. Hey-yo!
Hey-yo! Padded room. How's my favorite degenerates this week?
Fair to middling.
Oh, okay.
I hope everyone is doing good. Wanted to get in real quick, speak with you about the meat hooks there, foreign language films.
Yeah, what do you think?
I assume we're not going to include, the giallo slashers that are kind of half foreign language, half Italian.
I mean...
So let me give you my list, not including that.
All right, fair enough.
I think probably one of the best movies that I'm probably never going to watch again was Let the Right One In.
Okay.
I think that's such a great movie, so well shot, great story and all that, but it's one of those flicks that kind of like The Witch, Maybe you watch it 2 times every 10 years, but you don't really do it intentionally.
That's true.
I'd say that. I'd say Wreck, number 2. That was a good flick.
That is a good one.
And then number 1's got to be Train to Busan. I mean, I have a feeling you're going to be getting a lot of those this
sure
week.
Am.
Also, I wanted to get in on the What Are You Looking At department.
Yeah, what do you got, buddy?
I got to catch the Thing prequel.
Okay.
I've actually never seen it.
What'd you think of that?
Meant to do it when you guys were doing it a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was all right. I don't know. It's just one of the things I really felt that it missed was the paranoia of the original. You just didn't get the paranoia that you got in the original. And
agreed.
I'm not sure exactly why. I mean, I know people talk about the CGI at the end, but whatever, it's CGI of that era, I guess. So whatever. I didn't think it was all that bad.
Okay.
I also got to catch this Alfred Hitchcock flick, Marnie. I'd say stay away. It's not a horror film. It's supposed to be a suspenseful thriller, but it's kind of that era where it's I don't think so. It's just not for me. Final thing, I don't know who you are there, Mr. Darian.
All right.
So with that being said, I'll just walk out. Love you like family, and bye now.
Love you too.
Smoochy boochy.
Thanks for calling in, Tom Hardy. Yeah, man. It's interesting that he chose to put the Let the Right One In on the list of movies that you just don't watch that often. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's good. It's very drab.
Yeah, it's a heavy flick.
If you jump in at the wrong spot, you're probably going to find it more depressing than anything else, right? Like, especially at the beginning when he's getting bullied and all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely agree with him on that one. Yeah. It is heavy. As much as I really like it, and it's really good, it is a heavy movie.
Yeah.
The Witch, I'll rewatch that thing a lot. Deliberately.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen it maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
The Witch. I like it. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of an active watch. Because despite the fact that it's in English, you kind of need the subtitles. Because those motherfuckers with their accents and their dialects, oh, hey.
Hey, yo, oh, wait.
Hey, let's just all calm down here with it.
He's going full-blown Tony Danza over here.
Hey, Ange, what are they talking about, huh? Right on, Tom Hardy. Thank you guys for calling in. Alan, I'm gonna put you down for Jimmy Bones in this upcoming Terradome tournament.
So you're locking that in?
I'm locking it in.
What was it
it's
again?
Gonna be
single movie.
It's going to be
characters?
A one-off. Yeah. Okay. So any character you want from a horror movie, non-franchise, which means one appearance only. Alan, I'm putting down for Jimmy Bones. Have you ever seen Bones?
No.
You've never seen Bones? The Snoop Dogg horror?
I have zero desire to watch that.
Oh, Jason. It's terrible. It is
So
terrible.
What you're telling me is I need a box set and a steelbook.
I mean,
ASAP.
If there was some kind of a packaging situation where it came with like a pimp cane and a half-rolled joint, I don't know, but it is... I wouldn't say it's so bad it's good, but it is very bad, and... Snoop Dogg, God bless him, he's just not an actor. I mean, if he's playing Snoop Dogg, it's fine. And he kind of is, as Jimmy Bones.
I would imagine.
So, I don't know, man. That's just me. It's right on, Alan. I'm locking you in, and we will convene later on who else is taken.
Yeah, I'll have to think about who's going to be in that.
I got my eye on a few dudes.
Yeah?
But I don't want to give anybody else any ideas.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep it quiet. You ready to get into a movie, amigo?
You bet.
Let's drop it.
Luz.
Du musst wissen, meine Freundin hat eine ganz besondere Begabung. Hast du das Talent für mich?
Yeah, it's Luz.
It is.
From 2018. 5.4 stars on IMDb. This film is not rated. Written and directed by Tillman Singer. Stars Luana Velez, Johannes Benecki, and Jan Bluthart.
Sounds Spanish.
Now, listen. Clearly, I made a mistake in my recollection of this film. There is some Spanish spoken in the movie. Is it Mexican? No.
There was one Taco Bell scene.
I don't recall a Taco Bell scene.
Oh, my bad.
This is predominantly German, I would say. More German than anything else. And to be honest with you, I remembered liking this movie a lot. So much so that I went out and got a limited edition Blu-ray.
Yes.
Because that's how I roll.
How do you feel about that purchase?
In hindsight, I understand why I liked it. It doesn't mean that I still like it for the same reason. So, we're going to kind of be all over the place with this one, inmates. And the reason for that is because this movie is all over the place. So just bear with us, all right? We start off in Cologne, Germany. And in a seemingly very docile police department, or what I thought was a police department, maybe a mental hospital or something to that effect. And we see a young lady walk in, and she's talking to herself, and she keeps asking herself, Is this what you want to do with your life? Is this where you want to go? And then she screams at the poor schmuck there at the front desk. And then she's taken back and kind of held for questioning, I would say, because I believe a police detective does get involved in this process at one point. Policia. And then more professionals get involved, which leads me to believe that there's not a whole lot going on in Cologne, Germany most of the time. Because we brought in some professionals, and really, this is somebody that we would find on the street here in the United States, and just tell them to shove off back on down the road.
Kick some rocks.
Go scream at somebody else, you whack job. Instead, they take her in, and then they kind of ask, she's beat up. I would say she's a fairly attractive girl, although she's seen better days, that's for sure. She's got some scarring on her face and fresh wounds, and eventually she's interviewed by the police detective, who is just a mountain of a woman. Her name is Detective Bertillon, and if this movie were made today, I would say that she is probably
a dude
transitioning, or a dude probably has a cock. That's what I would say.
El penis.
That's to put it plainly. Yes, she probably has a wiener on her. I don't think she does though, because this was made in 2018. She's just a German bull of a woman, I would say, and very dominant, and yes,
and German
to that.
Probably much smaller if she were actually Spanish.
Probably much more attractive. I don't want to, I'm not. The Germans are lovely people, from what I understand, and their women are very handsome,
tall and burly,
and probably beat you in an arm wrestling contest. So from there, without further mention of anything, we're going to cut across town to a guy having a drink at a bar, and what I would say a pretty hot, attractive young lady. Not necessarily throwing herself at him, but she's very interested in this dude.
Trying desperately to make some small talk. And this guy's just a cock knocker about it.
Well, I mean, clearly he's not interested in getting his dick sucked. That's what I would say.
Very clearly.
Because if he was, he would at least regale this young lady. She's hot. She's a redhead. Nice little, like a push-up bra thing going on. And she just comes bouncing right over to him. Hey, I saw you have a pager. Hey, what are you, a doctor or something? And
yeah, the pager's just a telltale sign for clearly a professional in the medical field.
In 2018.
Yeah.
Who the fuck? I don't know. Maybe things are different in Germany.
Yeah, a little behind the times.
But she's just trying to get this guy to talk to her. He's like, no, I'm a therapist. And in the meantime, she is proceeding to line up a all-you-can-eat buffet of the fruitiest drinks I've ever seen in my life. We got umbrellas, we got celery stalks, we got like light blue liquids, and she's hitting them with salt, and then at one point she opens up her little necklace charm, and there's apparently cocaine in there because she takes a bump off of that. And our therapist here, he's got like the nitro pills, the little tiny ones for like a heart condition or something like that. So that's all well and good. Find out this dude is a therapist, and our hot redhead is like, oh, well, my girlfriend needs a therapist. She's got like a special condition. And then from there, we kind of go back to, we're going to jump in between these two scenarios quite a bit in the first act of the movie. We go back to the questioning of the chick that was screaming at the front desk guy. She is pretty banged up, and the police are very interested in what happened to her and what happened to somebody else that was in her cab. We find out she was a cab driver. Her name is Luce, as the title of the movie would suggest, and she's pretty banged up, and she's not exactly coherent at this time. So at this point, our strapping female police detective calls our therapist, who is across town at the bar. And that's when his pager goes off, and that initiates the conversation with the hot redhead. The therapist kind of stalls. He doesn't call back the pager number just yet because he's, chatting up the redhead and getting hammered at the same time. The redhead then goes on to explain that her girlfriend has this problem/ability, Now, I think this is what I enjoyed the most about this movie the first time that I watched it. I couldn't figure out what the hell it was about.
That's what you enjoyed?
That's what I like, a movie that goes that way. If it's in the horror section, I'll watch it. And I don't want, like you with the trailers, the least I know about it walking in, the better off I am, usually. So I'm thinking, okay, this is some kind of a, bait and switch where she's going to cut his dick off or some shit like that. But she's going on to explain how she met the girlfriend. And it's a very strange scenario about how she got her pregnant friend drunk, and she was laying naked in a circle of salt, and that's when she called me the first time. And I got there, and she freaked right out, and I sat up, bolt upright, and I said, "Hey, come give me a kiss." And then as soon as I saw her, I fell in love. And if you're a horror dork, or if you read the synopsis of this film, you got a pretty good idea what we're dealing with here. If you don't, then you're going to be like, wait, so there was some kind of circle of salt. That sounds kind of like some kind of weird ritualistic.
It's about at this point that I text Darian and I'm like, are you sure I'm watching the right movie? Everyone is speaking German. And he's like, no, there's some Spanish in there. And it didn't help that there was another movie called Luz that
is Spanish.
Completely Spanish. Yeah. But seems very homoerotic.
Yeah, I didn't recommend that one.
I'm glad I didn't start out on that.
Well, the odd part is there's another movie called Luz that is in Spanish and is a horror film. It's about a cult that abducts kids and takes them out in the Mexican hills for their weird compound.
Yeah.
I watched, it's called Luz, Flower of Evil, and I watched that one thinking it might have something to do with this, but it does not. There's no tie-in at all whatsoever. So, regardless, our hot chick is throwing herself at our therapist as we continue on into the saga of what's going on with the questioning. So this is when we get a little backstory of what actually happened with Luz and how she got all beat up and what's going on. So we know that she's a cab driver. Her cab is missing. She's still kind of...
Did she lose it?
She may have loosed it. Her cab is missing. We suspect it may have been an auto accident. So then we get into the questioning of who was in your cab, what happened, and what's going on here. Then we're going to cut back to our hotel situation where I feel like our hot redhead has finally convinced the therapist to, at the very least, let her jerk him off in the bathroom.
Very violently.
Whoa. That was a
very aggressive jerking.
I don't know that there was any jerking actually happening because he follows her into the bathroom and she gives him the fuck me eyes and she saunters over. And then I think she just put out a hand for a handshake.
I thought she grabbed his hand. She said hand me your hand.
Yeah.
And then I thought she basically took his hand and gave herself a good diddle.
Okay.
I couldn't really tell
if he really make it out.
If he was getting any reciprocation there.
I hope so. It was more of just a ultra violent. I mean, it throws him into a full on. Like somebody hooked the car battery up to him or something. Because he just then he flops back into the corner. And then she kind of kisses him for a second. But her mouth starts to glow. And then he just slumps over. Well, actually, she slumps over.
She slumps over.
So, okay. Now, if you're doing the math on this, then you know what just happened. I'll give you a better snapshot of it at the end. A lot of it is hard to explain. Now we're going to cut back to our questioning process. So now, Jason, our therapist actually gets called into the interrogation area. They have a whole thing going on. This is a big production for the police department of Cologne.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in an interpreter because Luz only speaks Spanish. We find out she's Chilean. We bring in our therapist, and he is apparently a hypnotherapist. So he's going to hypnotize her, and we're going to recreate the events of that evening, find out what happened to her cab, who was in it, what the fuck is really going on. So this part I thought was actually pretty cool, the way they shot this.
Yeah.
They kind of set up a little fake car there using a couple of folding chairs and a rear view mirror hanging from a microphone stand. Mm-hmm. And they put her under, and then she begins, like, basically replaying the events of the evening. So, and as they shot this in a way so that these events are basically recreating themselves there in this interrogation room situation. So she, like, snaps into her hypnosis, and then she starts the car, lights a cigarette, drives. Like, you can see her, like, with the gear shift and the gas and the brake, and then she's waiting for a fare outside of her airport, outside of the airport, and this is when our hot redhead comes into play. Apparently, she was the one in the cab when whatever happened. So Luz picks up the redhead from the airport, and we discover that these two actually went to school together back in Chile. It was a Catholic girls' school. And via some dialogue here, we're going to discover that there was some weird shit going on at this Catholic girls' school.
A fair bit of weird shit.
What we discover is that there was a third girl named Margarita, and Luz convinced her that she was pregnant and that she could help her with the pregnancy if Margarita would allow Luz to conduct some kind of black magic summoning ritual with her. And that's basically what happened. This is where we get the recreation of what the hot redhead was saying in the bar about the naked pregnant girl drunk in a circle assault with a bunch of candles. And Luz made up this weird kind of blasphemous Lord's Prayer, but like very adolescent. How did it go? Our Lord, you're a dick. You like sniffing panties or something.
Something about an old person's crotch.
I will be done in Grandpa's crotch.
Yeah.
Your kingdom stinks as something. I can't remember it, but it was very silly.
Yeah, it was.
And it gets repeated over and over. And this is where our interpreter, who is in an adjacent sound booth, is like, I'm not going to repeat this. It's blasphemous. Mm-hmm. So good for him. Way to stand your ground there. From there, they kind of give us a snapshot of what happened. So the demon revealed. Okay, so the hot redhead her name is Nora, and she kind of got very accusatory with Luz about what happened with Margarita there in the girls' school in the cab, which led Luz to crash the cab. I guess somewhat kill Nora, who was the hot redhead, which allowed the demon to possess Nora's body. From there, the demon/Nora went to the bar because I guess it knew the chain of events that was coming. I think it's a bit of a stretch.
You probably have noticed I'm quite quiet through this whole thing
because you don't know what the fuck is going on. Or am I wrong?
I honestly just didn't even care.
Okay,
it got to a point where I'm like, I don't even care what's going on.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just listening. I'm taking it in because maybe it will make me care.
This is my interpretation. I could be wildly off base here. So at this point, the demon has possessed Nora's body. Nora presumably is dead from the car accident, and taken Nora to the bar where the demon, I guess, knows that the therapist is there and knows what Luz is about to do. So from there, that's where we kind of catch up, where Nora jerks off the therapist and jumps into his body, I think. Or maybe sticks a finger up his butt or something.
Yeah, it definitely was like a transference.
Sure. And now the therapist/demon is there in the interrogation room with Luz. A lot of weird shit going on and a lot of weird imagery. We're about to go into full Flashdance mode here for a second because once the hypnotic recreation of the car accident occurs, there's like a fiery crash that takes place in the interrogation room, which causes smoke to go everywhere. Now, the detective is there, and she's like, okay, I don't know, let's get everybody out of here. The therapist is there, and he's like, no, we can't disrupt the process. The interpreter is officially freaked out because of all the religious things going on, and Luz kind of getting into what happened with Margarita.
Is the hypnotherapist naked at this point?
Not yet, but he will be very soon.
All right.
And I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense, but okay. So at this point, the police detective is like, no, I'm moving her. And the therapist jumps up and like puts a hand on her. Now the therapist has like scorpion, like plain white eyeballs. Puts a hand on the therapist's forehead, and that makes her eyeballs go completely black. And he's like, no, you're not going to move her. I need you to cooperate with me. I'm going to need your help here in a minute, so just chill out. And then the detective is like, okay, I'll do what you say. The guy in the sound booth, the translator, is completely freaked out by all of this shit. And he's thinking, oh, fuck this. This is insane. From there, we get even more reenactment of what actually happened back at the Catholic school. The demon ended up possessing Margarita. And I'm just going to blaze through this because there is a lot of nonsensical imagery and a lot of things that is purely conjecture on my part. I'm just trying to make sense of some of this.
Sure.
What I gathered from all this was that in Luz's attempt to do whatever back at the Catholic school, she invited the demon into Margarita's body, which the demon possessed, and then basically the demon fell in love with Luz at that point. Margarita was then kicked out of the Catholic school because the demon was acting like a fucking asshole in her body. We do get to see what I believe was an underage young lady naked. I don't think that actress was of age. That could just be
You don't
me.
think so?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't know. Little uncomfortable.
I thought she was of age.
Okay, I hope you're right, because I don't want to be indicted or be accused of owning anything.
Right.
So from there, the demon / Margarita and Luz were separated. The demon from that point has gone on a full-on body-hopping campaign trying to track Luz down so that they could be together again. Now, at this point, the demon / therapist is doing his damnedest to, like, recreate again the car crash. So, to do so, the guy takes all of his clothes off and gets into full drag, wearing Nora's old clothes, and then gets in the fake car behind Luz so that they could have this big falling out as Nora and Luz. I don't know. I think Luz knew the demon was in Nora at this point. I can't say for sure. But basically what it boils down to is the demon makes a full confession. Yes, I love you. I gotta get with you. And Luz is like, no, you drove me insane and you killed Margarita. And he's like, you told me to take possession of Margarita. You knew what was going to happen when I did that. And then the big lovers spat. And to make a long story short, they kind of reconcile. The interpreter guy comes out and like bashes the therapist over the head with a typewriter or something like that, which knocks him out. The interpreter guy, though, goes to like escape, but the cop shoots the interpreter guy and kills him. But then I think he lives because he does like a voiceover thing at the end. But to make a long story short, the demon jumps back. It like remanifests as a young nubile Margarita, naked and somewhat bloody, and then Luz is like, I'm so sorry. What happened? I didn't think you would do that. And she thinks she's talking to Margarita, but it's actually the demon. And then the demon just grabs her and makes out with her, and I believe transfers into Luz also, because at the very end, the detective is walking Luz out, has her sign some paperwork, and then escorts her out the door. And as that's happening, we get a voiceover from the interpreter, I believe the interpreter, begging the detective to kill Luz because it's got that thing inside her. That's what I got. You got anything different, Jason?
So all of this shit happened back in, what was the other country that wasn't
Chile.
Germany? Okay. So how the hell did the demon get to Germany?
Nora.
But you said that it was only once Luz crashed the car and Nora died that you said that then the demon took possession of her body.
I think so.
So did Luz not do a transference? I don't remember. Did she not transfer it to Nora?
No.
So at no point was she carrying the demon
I don't
with her?
believe so.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
So,
unless the demon was in Nora when she first touched down in Germany. It's a thought. I don't know, man. You're asking the wrong guy.
I genuinely don't think there's an explanation out there that would make me like this movie.
Okay. I remembered liking it a lot more than I did on this last watch.
It's probably the naked chick.
I found that to be a little disturbing, to be honest with you. A little off-putting there, Jason.
It just made no sense to me. Stylistically, I really did like, at least at first, the reenactment kind of part,
hypnosis thing,
and just kind of how they filmed that.
Sure.
I thought that was kind of something fresh, something new.
Yeah.
But outside of that, man, like this thing was just silly.
It's very hard to follow. I could be completely off base with everything I just said. Mm-hmm. I almost hope I am, because if that would add like an extra layer of depth to it.
Too bad you don't speak Spanish. You would have understood the whole thing.
I think more German than Spanish, right? I don't know, man. I'm
being a bit facetious.
How dare you? Take your fishesis and get out of here. It's definitely original. I'll give it that. The idea of the demon being enamored with the mortal and going to great lengths to get back to her, that's something that I thought was kind of original. It's very hard to follow because all of the reenactment goes into another reenactment, and then like when the therapist gets there, he tries to put on his own reenactment by jumping into drag and getting into the make-believe car with her.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the point of that was, except to explain to her that maybe Nora was the demon the whole time, or...
So if Nora... Okay, let's say Nora flew to Germany with the demon in her.
Okay.
She then finds Luz. Luz maybe realizes that the demon is in Nora, crashes the car.
Okay.
But then... At some point, because that's just a reenactment at that point.
Right.
At some point, this dead Nora had to have walked to a bar and diddled a guy in a bathroom and transferred itself.
Okay.
So...
It's possible.
What did Luz... I guess that maybe that's the point where she ends up in the police station, where she crashed the car, left Nora's body, possibly.
Right.
Walked to the police station. Meanwhile, back at the taxi, Nora is getting up, walking around, goes to the bar, hooks up with the psychotherapist, transfers to that body. But why bother?
Well, I mean, if all you gotta do is grab her and kiss her, she could have done it as Nora before she even got in the cab.
Yeah, just give her a little smooch.
Yeah, boom, done. We're back together, babe. Me and you. I don't know, man. Like I said, I like the concept of it. I think we got a little too artsy-fartsy with the...
Got a little silly with that...
the fog machine.
Hypnotherapist.
Let's take it easy on the fog machine there, fellas.
That thing was turned up to 11.
It's making it very difficult for me to understand what the fuck is happening here. I say it's only an hour and 10 minutes. It's worth checking out. See if maybe you get something out of it that we didn't. I don't know. I think it's streaming on Tubi right now.
Yep.
And maybe a few other places. Or you can buy the limited edition Blu-ray like me from Vinegar Syndrome for about $10.
It's got a nice slipcover.
Not getting that money back. Let's take us a break, Jason Harrell.
All right.
Wish you don't really love me.
Hey, inmates. If you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And we are back, Jason.
Yeah, boy.
Do you think this movie would have been any better if it was all in English?
Nope.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I understand. I'm going to need a bit of a redo on that one, apparently.
I mean, it probably would have had a little more of my attention.
Yeah.
And maybe, maybe I'm to blame for its shortcomings.
No.
Maybe I just wasn't zeroed in good enough.
No. Like I said, the first time I watched it, I really dug it. But I think it was just in concept. Execution needs a little work.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, you ready to get into a meat hook this week, homeboy?
You betcha.
Three on a meat hook.
This week's meat hook, top 3 demon possession movies.
Mm-hmm.
Hit us with number 3, Jason.
Number 3, Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Very cool. That's actually my number 2.
Well, look at there.
Look at that. The contortions Jennifer Carpenter pulled off. Oh, God.
Yeah, she did really good in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very,
She's a great
very solid. As many of these damn movies as there's been, this is a really good possession movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It kind of fits into that whole... Some possession movies, they'll go into like weird religious routes. This one stayed the course pretty... Right? Stuck with the Catholicism. That's kind of like your gateway drug to demonic possession.
Yeah.
It's Catholicism.
Absolutely.
So,
Definitely.
you start messing around with Catholicism, before you know it, you're floating on the ceiling. Don't even do it, man. That's what I say.
You're spider crawling your way around the house.
You know what? My number 3,
Yep.
Taking of Deborah Logan.
Yep.
That's a good one.
That is a
Found
good movie.
footage. I like the what I like the most about it is the juxtaposition of mental illness to demonic possession. And where that line is officially drawn.
Sure.
Because, the majority of the stuff that she pulls could easily be written off to Alzheimer's.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Absolutely.
some other, dementia thing.
You bet.
Until she starts with the swallowing children whole. Yeah. That's a bit of a stretch there, Billy.
Yeah, I don't know if losing your mind does that.
Maybe not. How about number 2, Jay?
My number 2, Evil Dead 2013.
Very cool.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And she does it so well, Mia.
She is gnarly, dude. All those kids, when they get it, they get gnarly.
Yeah.
I think just the demonic possession sucks, sure, but what's even worse about it is you don't know how to fix that, and now you're stuck in a cabin with it. And all you can do is hope that it doesn't kill you or shoot you with a nail gun.
You stand no chance.
Get her in the basement, lock that motherfucker up, and let's just, I don't know, get somebody out to an ambulance or something. I don't know what you do.
I would at least, rain be damned. I'd stand outside. I'm not staying in that fucking house.
I mean, the verbal abuse alone was, it was a
okay,
bit
now you're just being mean and rude.
I don't think that was called for.
My mother's a what?
My number 2, already mentioned, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yes, sir.
Solid. How about number 1, Jim?
My number 1, obviously, The Exorcist.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. And I would agree, except the only reason it's not my number 1 is it's a great movie. There's no getting around that. A lot of people will call it the perfect film, or at least a perfect horror film. It's not a movie that I'm going to put on and watch anytime soon. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's very heavy. It's
very
very dour.
heavy.
It's very drab. It's not a good time watch movie. I wouldn't say that. I hate to see the weirdo that's out there like, hooting and hollering every time The Exorcist comes out. Whoa, here we go!
Yeah, it's no Human Centipede 2.
Absolutely not. But it is a great movie. Maybe like once a year I'll check it out. My number one is Evil Dead 1 from 1981. The exact same reasons that I already mentioned when you brought up Evil Dead from 2013. Only difference for me in those two is I think that the tree rape in Evil Dead 1 really kind of solidifies what's going on. You know? You see it in Evil Dead 2, or the remake of Evil Dead, but it's very understated and it's over very quickly. In Evil Dead 1, it's more of a centerpiece, I found. Kind of gives you that's your opening, no pun intended,
right.
But that is your opening to how they started the bullshit. Sure, you played the tape and you read the book, but it still has to get inside somebody, both literally and figuratively. And that kind of brought the whole thing home for me. Anything from Sarah on this one?
Yeah. I'm just comparing those two Evil Dead movies, solely the tree rape thing is what throws one over the other.
Yes.
Despite the shortcomings of the original versus so many of the improvements in the remake. You don't think there's at least a counterbalance there? You think the weight of that tree alone.
There were several trees. It was more of a tree gangbang, really. What you think of as shortcomings from the original, I have no problem with. I know you hated the claymation sequence at the end.
Well, and I won't even call them shortcomings. Okay. I will say the improvements of the remake visually, because there's no claymation.
Right.
So I'm not, saying that against the original. I'm singing the praises of the remake.
Sure.
Modernization and improvements on the visuals.
Sure. That's fine. I understand that. I just find the directorial style and the photography of the original to be a bit superior to the remake.
Okay.
I have no problem with the remake whatsoever. Loved it. If I had to choose between one or two to throw on in a pinch, I'd probably go with the remake.
Really?
But as which one I enjoy more, I'm going to go with the original.
Yeah.
On that one. And it has a lot to do with the tree rape. I'm a bit of a tree rape aficionado.
I love myself some wood.
And the way Ellen Sandwich sold it, as opposed to Mia, she just kind of spread and then shot right up her.
Right.
These trees were more sensual. They were tender lovers.
A nice tit grab.
They wanted to make sure she enjoyed herself.
Sarah comes in with number 3, Amityville Horror, the remake. Ryan Reynolds, duh.
Oh, God. All right.
Number 2, The Exorcist.
Okay.
And number 1, Paranormal Activity 1.
I mean, would you call that a possession movie?
I would say that it turns into a possession movie.
In the last 8 seconds. Right? She's entitled to her opinion.
Sure. I would... I see it as a haunting movie, first and foremost.
I'm on your team.
But, it definitely turns it. It's a little before the 8-second mark. She starts, kind of slee stacking her way around,
right.
And shit like that, lumbering around and stuff. She, does take Micah out.
Right.
Because of the possession. A little late in the game, but it's kind of a hybrid.
Sure. Would you call The Thing a possession movie?
Not a demonic possession.
That's what I was going to say. But just straight possession, is that a possibility?
More of a infection or infestation.
Clone kind of a situation. Sure.
Yeah.
Right on. Inmates, we would love to know what your top 3 demonic possession movies are. Get us on the email, mail@paddedroompodcast.com, or the mental health hotline, area code 775-387-0275. While you're contemplating your list, we're going to tell you what movies we got to watch this week in a little segment we like to call, What Are You Looking At?
What are you looking at?
Little movie from 2023 called From Black, Jason. Not bad, streaming on Shudder right now. Did you ever see a movie called A Dark Song?
Doesn't ring a bell.
This chick hires somebody that she believes to be a wizard to help her. They rent out this big mansion, and they got to do like this 30-day ritual to summon her guardian angel. None of this is ringing.
None of this rings a bell.
Okay,
but you had me a wizard.
Oh, this guy is a full wizard. This movie From Black is very similar to that. Basically, you have a drug addict mom who, through her own drug use and negligence, loses a son, very young one, and then this chucklehead comes along and says, "Hey, I can bring your son back for you. We just have to do all these nutty rituals." And naturally, shit goes awry from there.
Of course.
Not that dissimilar from A Dark Song, but much darker and much more malevolent, I guess. And the ending is a lot darker, too.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's all I got to look at, buddy. How about you?
Only one thing, other than required viewings, The Hole in the Ground.
Okay.
I give it a 5 out of 10. It's a very average movie.
Hole in the Ground. When did that one come out?
Is 2019. Okay. It's an Irish movie.
Okay.
Seen it?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No good, you say?
Kind of yet another almost like doppelganger type movie. You can kind of see a lot of things coming a mile away. Ending, not really good payoff. But, it served a purpose.
It's an Irish movie about a hole in the ground. What do you expect? Right on, man. How about some immersion therapy then?
Immersion therapy.
What did you think of The Device there, Jason?
I did not like this movie.
I didn't care for it myself.
Yeah, this was not very good.
I'm looking at the thumbnail, and it's got a chick hooked up to a bunch of hoses and gauges
yeah.
and like pumps and whistles and flugelhorns. And
they give you a cue ball.
They give you a cue
actually
ball.
An 8 ball with no number on it.
That's what it is. They give you a black ball, and that's it. And the boyfriend spazzes. There's some allusions to an alien abduction, and the boyfriend is like making deals with the aliens because he wants the cue ball back. It's very slow. It's very drab.
The alien, all things considered, didn't look awful. There was a couple of times it didn't look good.
No.
But there was a couple of shots where it wasn't awful. He did have the same prosthetic fingers as the main vampire in Subspecies.
He did, yeah.
Those
long,
long,
like
just
8 inches long,
rubber
piece.
fingers. Yeah, it's not. That's just not good.
It's very
and
boring.
That rubber ball is just. There's just no payoff, man.
No, man, it's a lacrosse ball. That's all it is. It's that, and I hold it and I feel it and I can see and I
look. It's magnetic. All right.
Oh, this is going to make us rich. It's a ball. It's just a ball, man. It doesn't really do anything.
Try to listen to that on eBay.
Yeah, here you go. It's a black lacrosse ball. $1.49, dude. Right on, man. I say you can skip it. It's if you're looking at the thumbnail, it looks very intriguing because it looks like some kind of biomechanical situation, and you read the synopsis.
Yeah, it's a very like H.R. Geiger type of image.
Yeah, and then you read the synopsis, and it's like, oh, these chicks go out to a cabin in the woods, so you're thinking maybe like an Evil Dead thing, and then no, none of the above. More family drama than anything, and these two sisters being absolute snatches to each other over their dead mom. Mm-hmm. That's the majority of it, man. I say you skip it.
Yep.
Your immersion therapy for this week is going to be... The Possessed from 2021. Find this one streaming on Tubi, inmates. Check that shit out. We will do the exact same thing, and we can compare notes next week. It kind of flows with our demonic possession situation. Unless, of course, this is just a car that has gone into default on its loan, and then they had to come get
The
it.
Repossessed.
Oh, shit. Did you ever see that movie, Repossessed?
Yeah.
With Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah.
Fucking
It's completely stupid.
still holds up, if you ask me.
Yeah, but it's completely
Hilarious. Right on, man. Well, I think it's time to educate me then, Mr. Harrell.
Educating Miss Monica.
Okay.
First, my clues from last week. I am a vampire, and I have woken from a century's slumber by a dipshit construction crew. Turns out my once aristocratic family. I'll fucking have a stroke trying to come up with that word. Aristocratic family has fallen into some hard times. We were once royalty in this region, and now our business is in decline. Our fishing boats are all wrecked. The goddamn witch that put me in the ground to begin with is thriving. She's wrecked my business and taken most of it over, and now I must reaffirm myself and get my family back on the right track, get rid of these losers that are hanging around, and reestablish my dominance. I am, of course, Barnabas Collins from Dark Shadows, Jason. The Johnny Depp version. You ever seen it?
Nope.
It's
I haven't watched it.
It's a pretty good show.
Is it?
It's a good Halloween show.
It got shit on quite heavily.
It did. Well,
but it's fine.
There's a lot of fucking Dark Shadows doofuses out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you actually told me there was something a little weird about it, like some undertones.
There's a blowjob scene.
Oh, there we go.
Which is kind of strange for a PG-13. It's not really a blowjob scene.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter goes down on him, and then he kind of gives like a blowjob face, like
That was definitely a blowjob face.
There's a blowjob situation.
Too bad we don't have our video element.
We need to work on that at some point. Who might I be this week, you ask?
We do.
Well, I am a struggling writer, and I am having a hell of a time putting together my next book. My goddamn editor is up my ass, and I need to get something going, but I can't. I got too much other shit going on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have my editor lock me in my own apartment for 30 days. No phone. I'm going to keep a TV just, for whatever. And I'm going to write a book in 30 days. First draft at the very least. Unfortunately, I'm now realizing that I may be claustrophobic. And there's some weird things happening with the electricity in this apartment. And I may be slowly unraveling myself over the course of the next 30 days. Or there could actually be like some kind of a psycho in here with me. I can't tell. I'm coming undone, Jason. Who might I be, you ask? Tune in next week, and I will drop some knowledge on you. In the meantime, inmates, I think that's about it for us this week. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us next week for Terrified here in Mexican or German month. Celebrating Cinco de Mayo here in the padded room. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit if you have time. If you got a couple extra ducats and you feel like donating, support.paddedroompodcast.com is where you go to do that. We've got all kinds of donation tiers set up with prizes and kickbacks and control of the month of whatever. Check it out. See what you think. Get back to us if you're interested. Other than that, Jay, for Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Chile.
And or Germany.
Chile and Germany. Demons that will cross international borders to find their possessors, I don't know, whatever you do there. Cab drivers that should really get some sleep before they hang out at the airport.
Siestas.
And the Padded Room Podcast. I'm afraid visiting hours are over.
Bye.